everybody. My name is Sky. This is Marabella. This is the Raw Magic podcast. We are back half refreshed after the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. How are you, Marabella?
Yes, I am feeling good. I think I was just in that active mode, the divine masculine mode of taking action. So I've been working out more than usual, like taking hikes and things like that. How are you?
I am good. I'm still tired. I'm still recovering, but my whole plan during the bundle, because if you don't know, we had the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, and there's so many books. There's still going, so many books. There was so much to do.
Yes.
And I had the retreat as well. So I planned. So when it finished, I would just stop and rest. And I've been doing that. And I think that's really, really important. But this topic, magic constipation, I was thinking about it because I feel like if we do jump into our masculine, I just feel my magic start to drain. And it may not necessarily drain, it may be what I know of magic drain. When I think of any magic that I have in my life, like I'm talking vibration, energy, femininity, moon, crystals, maybe it's all sitting in my feminine, and maybe there is a way to incorporate more magic in my masculine, but it really shut a lot of that down for a purpose, right? I had a retreat where it wasn't just me as the focus. I needed to focus on other people, planning the retreat, writing 2 ebooks, doing content for all that, then going straight into it. I was not present. I was always in my mind because my mind needed to do things. But I did plan at the end that I would just stop and rest. But it's not as easy to just jump back and feel magic.
Yes. So I was feeling disconnected a little bit from my intuition as well. And I have different clients that I work with, and I just felt like I wasn't, usually things just download to me, and it was more of I don't want to struggle. So it was just more of it wasn't quite as easy. It was a little bit clunky, I felt like, after the bundle. And what I realized is that, so I went hiking one day, I went to the gym the next day, and when I was at the gym and I was on it was like a cardio machine, in that zone, all these ideas started coming to me again. It was like I had hit something like outside of myself. And I was like, okay, good. This is good. And I thought, for me, it's so important to surround myself with beauty. Like a whole video came to me about how to step into beauty and let that feed you and fill your soul. It's not necessarily like what we eat, like keep to our high vibration raw foods, but take in our nourishment from the beauty, take in our nourishment from nature. That was kind of like my aha moment. And I knew that, yeah, I was on the machine. I needed to get back out in nature and tap into my divine feminine, tap into that because so much of the bundle, which this was so great for me because that was like out of my element. So much go, 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 every day, wake up, go, which I loved. Like I was having such a ball. It was so much fun, but that's not usually what I do. I usually like flow into everything. And so it was like, keep that action, but go with the flow with it, if that makes sense.
So, do you mean next time you're going to go more in the flow with the bundle, or do you mean you're trying to come back to go with your flow?
Action. Yeah, take that action and move forward with all my downloads and thoughts and what to do next, and keep going, but go in the flow with it, but keep the action up. Kind of try to have a balance of the masculine and the feminine.
Interesting. Hey there. So
hi.
I always noticed that. So I've been back in, like yesterday I did is like a me day. I did this massive walk and I did Pilates. I got some extra produce. I jumped in the ocean. I came back, had a shower, did self-care, put my lounge gear on, made a beautiful salad.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
was feeling amazing, but I still don't feel as connected to my intuition as I did before, which I'm wondering, is this a feminine trait? Is this something that females, I mean, when I think of growing up around my mum and my dad, my mum was so like, I know, like I just know, this about my child, or I just know this, very intuitive. Whereas
Uh,
dad's like, well, that doesn't make sense, like very analytical. How
yeah.
do you know how intuitive men actually are? Even when I think of male psychics, it's very matter of fact. It's not so like, it seems like this is my opinion, is seems like they tap into something very direct on some frequency, whereas women, it seems they still jump into different frequencies. What are your thoughts on male and female intuition?
Yeah, so my husband is super intuitive. He's a retired chiropractor, and so just from all his work with the different people that he works with, he can meet somebody and just know things about them just like right away.
Wow.
So his intuition is like knowing, where probably mine is more feeling, just like feeling something, or I'll see something or hear. He's just very clear sentient, clear cognizant, like he just knows. So I think maybe it's
Interesting.
different for women and men because they're not as in tune with their, well, not all men. Some men are very much in tune with their the way that they feel, but my husband is just, he's knowing and he's knowledge, and things have to make sense, where I'm more like feeling, maybe noticing, maybe kind of, I'll know something, but I'll be slow to say it until I make sure. He just knows it, just like right away.
So I have had this gift, and I probably still have it. It's just I haven't used it. And it's just making me think about chiropractors, and my chiropractor I'm about to see today, who's a
Oh,
kinesiologist as well. And
yeah.
so I was always in a lot of pain, right? Like an exuberant amount of pain, even before I was like bedridden, when I would be able to still socialize with friends when I was in my teens. There was pain in what you probably want to call like lymph areas, that fibromyalgia type. So you get it in the joints, you get tenderness as you lead up to joints,
Oh,
around the neck. Like I don't think there's a spot, except maybe the major limbs and bones and bigger muscles, they didn't hold as much pain. But then even that got worse. But what I noticed is anytime someone would say, can you give me a massage? I would know exactly where to go, exactly how hard to push. And I completely believe that was because of what was in my body. I knew every pocket that inflammation drew. And I'm guessing it feels more like a knowing than it does an intuitive trait, that when and I still see it out, you see somebody crutching a part of their body, like when they run, and they'll be like, boom on their right leg, boom on their right leg first, like a lot harder. And I'll be like, oh, their hip. And I think it's because I've been through so much, I can see that. But
yes.
that feels very different than tapping into like different levels of expression, where you get full pure downloads that you trust, that really have no, like, we talk about this a lot, no language. Like, a lot of stuff that we see and feel, there's just no words for it.
Yes, yes, that's so true. Yeah, and my friend Lydia is from Russia, and she has more words to express love, or more words to express other feelings than our English language has. Really interesting.
I love that. So have you ever noticed anybody has that sort of, you can call it a gift, but I feel like it's more on a heavier, denser plane than it is what happens when you get on light frequencies?
Um, so I think you're right. I think there's all different types of like intuition, being intuitive, medical, feeling,
Mm,
knowing, because I know there's clairsentient, which is clear feeling, clairvoyant, which is seeing,
mm.
clairaudient, which is hearing, clairsentient, I think I already said clairsentient, feeling, clairvoyant, seeing, clairaudient, hearing, and clairvoyant. I must be saying these over and over the same, and clairvoyant, seeing. And I feel like some people I know are definitely clairvoyant. I have a couple of friends that can see or have visions. I also have some friends, like I used to be clairaudient where I would hear. It wasn't like I would hear a voice. It was kind of like, you know how they say your third eye? I
Mm.
call it like my third ear where I could hear. Sometimes I'll hear. It's almost like not a voice outside of myself, but like something inside saying, but it's not me.
Do you want to? Oh, sorry. You know, on that third eye that you were
Uh-huh.
just talking about, when I was really unwell and I was dissociated, I would, this is when FND was, I'd have these moments where I could get out of bed and walk a bit, and I'd walk and look at different rooms. And some people, I guess, might call it a basically like seeing things, but it was so real, and it kind of makes sense. So it was like every room I went to, people had a bullet-sized hole just here, and whether they were awake or asleep, and the hospital's in neurological, so there's a lot of people who were very old and very sick, is there was a projection going straight out, and you would see them, and almost like their eyes were staring at the projection. And yeah, so I mean, like, and I'm not talking about like airy fairy stuff here. It was like, it was
Yeah.
fully there. In fact, it was my focus when I would go in. And sometimes when people would sleep, it would go darker. And when they were in the light, like awake, it would be really light. And in fact, sometimes I think I could see what was in the projection, which is really interesting.
That's amazing.
It is. It was
Uh,
scary. And I guess that's what happens when you awaken without the tools, right? Because that's what it felt like to me.
Wow.
It was like one day God's like, you see all now, like all your highest,
Yes.
you see all, and 37 kilos still on medication and thrown in psych units, and more happened, and they're drugging me. Is how do you cope seeing things? And I don't think it's ever left. I think I get to choose now what I see. But I did interrupt you just there when you're talking about the
Oh,
pineal gland and the third eye. So
oh, yeah. I'm not sure where I was going with that. I can't. I was
sorry, I
just,
just was like,
no,
it
no,
made me
no, it's okay. It'll come back. It'll come back.
it
Yeah.
made me think of that.
And, uh-huh.
Go for it.
Oh, just, we were talking about like after the bundle and then how I was really tired and I felt just kind of disconnected from my intuition too. And I decided to get back into I was always walking while during the bundle, connecting with nature, but not like I did before. Because in the bundle, it's all consuming, and that was like my total focus. So I did some exercise, but not like when I exercise, I like to, it's almost like my meditation. So when I was out hiking, I earlier that day, I had a client and I saw a vision of a snake, but I didn't think it was for her, so I didn't say anything to her. And then while we were out hiking, we saw a snake. We saw a rattlesnake go in
Wow.
front of us. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
it's obviously turning back on. One of the
Uh-huh.
greatest things, you can go through things that help with magic constipation, like not being able to get your frequency or vibe or lift yourself up. But my
Mhm.
biggest go-to, and I've seen lots of reels lately where it's kind of what I did when I healed as well. So the ocean for me is elite. Like nature does it, but it takes time. And whereas if I jump in the ocean, it's like this instant hit. But I did when I was healing myself and did all these like things that I feel like I just knew what to do. Salt was everywhere in my place. So salt lamp in my lounge room, which I had and
Mhm.
plugged in. I got Himalayan salts, which I had from ages ago, and threw them on the floor of the bathroom. When I connected with mum and dad, I would put so much Himalayan salt, Celtic salt, sea salt in the bath and lay there for hours. As soon as I could, I jumped in the ocean, even though it was the middle of winter. And I know that ionized effect, and we can get very mineral depleted with it, which I think I was as well. But I find to this day, if I throw myself in the ocean, doesn't matter what time of the year, it's like the best thing in the world, and I come back to myself. I have struggled a little bit more this time, but I think it's because I've been so far away for so long. as in like usually something trips me. Like I've usually got my high vibes, like lots of energy.
Yeah.
I've got balance. I've usually got balance, and then something tips me. And if I jump in the ocean, it can usually bring me up even to a better level to process what I need to process.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the other thing that's come up for me as well is, which is, it's like a double-edged sword, which I knew it would always be, and that is as my emotional memory returns, and basically my memory of my identity as to who I always was just fractured. And it started to come back 3 years ago, but I feel really in it at the moment. And I have these urges to go, and people can call it addiction, but I think at my level, I'm not trying to leave something behind. I have been searching for myself for almost 10 years, right?
Wow.
And so I feel like myself. And when I do things I used to do, which I've shared often, how I use moisturizers I used to do my makeup like I used to do, I dress more like I used to do. This all helps me, is to go and have a coffee and a cigarette to feel more of myself. And I don't actually want either of them, to be honest. There's times where I've had cravings come up and I'm like, oh, I'd like that. I want to feel me more. So I think I've got to be careful. And I think we have to, when I share this, you have to understand this is different from somebody who's done all of this, hasn't completely fractured and moving into a new lifestyle, because you are trying to move away and let go, and you may go back a bit. Like there's a grieving, mourning process. I never processed any of it. It just fractured. And so as it comes back, I'm so grateful, because I feel more and more just normal, which has taken 5 years into Raw to get to a spot like that. But I notice all of these things that I used to do are coming up because I want to feel more like me, which I think is pulling my vibe down too. Because you remember who I used to be was so heavy. So I think that's like, I wanted to bring that up as well, that I don't think a jump in the ocean is, and maybe it's like, I actually feel what's coming up for me is to back off for a while on everything I do, because I have to process. Like it would just be masculine energy, more of a distraction. If I'm like, what am I doing now? What about I do this? Got to do this. So that's why I feel like I'm in this now where I would do like what I need to, but I think there's stuff I have to process. So maybe what I'm bringing up here is magic constipation always a bad thing as well?
No, I don't feel it is. Because like today, a lot of my things got canceled. And I felt like it was the universe saying, you're going to just relax. You're just going to live life like just everyday life. Don't try to do too much. And it's interesting that you went to the ocean, because I did an Epsom salt bath, and it was after one of my hikes, and I felt so amazing, like so amazing. After our live today, I'm jumping in the bath again. So it's interesting.
Don't do it before you'll be like, I remember when I first started doing them, and I remember I had a lot of nutrient deficiencies, and my iron was low, no B12, and I was so tiny, and I'd get in and I'd have to have my pajamas like literally next to the bed. Like I'd have to I would have to trust that I knew the pathway to the room, because I'd just collapse in a heap, because it makes you so sleepy and relaxed. It doesn't do this to me now, but at that time, it was beautiful. It was, it was just what I needed. But what you're saying also makes me think of what the extent the universe went to slow me down, right? Where it's like, I'm going to take everything off you. And that's what I think I don't want other people to get to, right? That's what the idea is. If the universe starts taking things off us, we tend to go, oh, I've lost victimhood, right? I've lost my partner. I lost my job. I lost all these things. And we create more and more masculine energy and more blocks. And what more than likely would happen over time, if you're supposed to look after yourself, and that's, you're supposed to go on the spiritual journey, is the universe will keep cherry picking things off you until you stop. And when I think of where I got to, and how far I've come, it was all because my higher self decided to take everything off me, strip me away, and then I had to just sit in it, like sit in the energy of nature and fresh food and myself. And
Yes.
when you have to earn back your family and earn back yourself, you know, I've lost myself for 10 years and earn back walking, smiling, like I feel like you have an appreciation for them. So like sometimes it's a matter of, and I used to do this when I first got well. Actually, when I first split with reality and I got out of the hospital, I used to say, I've got my arms and legs. Like I've got my arms and legs. Like a lot of us don't appreciate all we have. We're
So
so
true.
consumed by what we don't have.
Yes, that's so true. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like to having that appreciation because you're so different, like so healthy now, and but yet you still have that appreciation for what you went through, which is just really igniting who you are now. Like, look what I can do. Look what I can do. So, how is it for you to take to take a step back? Well, I don't know if it's a step back, but to relax. How do you to relax, but you know you're like, but I can do all this now. But yet there's a part of you that needs to like relax and just restore.
So I think what happened is I don't think I actually can have comprehended the depth of what I actually achieved. I think in my mind at the time, I knew it was like a freaking beyond a miracle, and that motivated me. But then I think you get momentum where I call it running from the fire. So if you are in a fire, you can't process it until you've run out of it. You can't halfway through where you're burning alive start going, sitting in the energy, feeling the emotions. You're feeling the pain and suffering of the fire, right? You've got to run far away until you're safe. And I feel like it's taken now, and that's why I feel like I'm switching back on, because I feel safe. But luckily, in that safety is 3 years, 4 years of doing bundles, right? So there's a safety that it's a same time every year, same
Yeah.
type of people, more are coming on board. There's a safety in that, and that just reassures to me that I'm safe. This one time of the year, it's very, very busy, but I think what's really
Yeah.
apparent is it's really overwhelming and bringing. And I don't cry much, and I can feel tears that sit there when
Mhm.
I think of what I actually achieved
Yeah.
for myself. And I think I have to, before I don't know how you actually process being that sick for that long, but I think I'm going through a stage where I need to, just now that I'm safe, possibly rinse and repeat, like with the podcast and my YouTube, and just, I don't know how to explain it, but maybe
Yeah.
even detach from being so like high vibe to sit in some of the energy, which I haven't been well enough or felt safe enough, I think, to do. Because to me, it's like denial, right? It's almost, it's pure denial. It's the fact that I just go along and I share part of my journey and stuff, but the actual scope of what I did, I need to sit in, because I lost everything. Like, and now I have like my dream life, and that to me is, I
Oh, I
think that,
just got chills.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, I think that's what's coming up for me, and I think it's blocking everything else. But I think what I'm also trying to say is it doesn't have to be a bad thing. What if I do start crying every night and every day? Well, with what I've been through, I just don't cry because my emotions got blocked. And it's got to,
Mhm.
as I think my mum especially has waited for what's this time to come. It's not possible to not mourn or move through this. So I feel that's where I'm at. But what happens now is, I know me, without accepting what's happened, will try and get back to doing more and more, and I
Mhm.
will do
Mhm.
more videos and more, which is really
Yeah.
like almost like a distraction or a drug, right? And I never want life to be like that. So that's what I feel is coming up for me. And I thought I'd get on this podcast and talk about how we actually break through, and we can, because salt is an amazing one. Crystals,
Mhm. Mhm.
grounding, getting out in nature, doing things you
Mhm.
love. But I think why I'm sharing this part is, some people may sit in this not to feel sorry for yourself, but sometimes acceptance takes stopping.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Just being here, just practicing just being. That's
Yeah.
another way to get back into getting unstuck, is just to sit and be. And sometimes it's uncomfortable because, like, for me, I'm like, I did all this in the bundle. Look what I did. Look what I did. My body is like, and obviously the universe is like, you need to like focus on other things right now. Focus on, like we were organizing too, focus on my home, focus on gardening. It's springtime here.
Yeah.
Focus in on these earthy, focus in on that, the grounding. But I'm like, but I have all these ideas and I don't want to lose momentum. But it's like going with the flow. That's what I was saying earlier, like go with the flow, still keep momentum, but go with the flow, to where I work best when I'm inspired. So instead of like forcing something to happen, knowing and allowing everything to fall into place. So instead of pushing for me, it's like allowing, like, okay, I'm grounded here. I've done my shopping, my yard work, whatever. I'm just allowing, the ideas are coming. I'm feeling inspired. I'm going to create, like that, instead of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, if that makes sense. Like
It
flow.
does, because I think that was what the difference is. Where almost all the things that unlock magic constipation for me right now, which is the grounding, nature,
Mhm.
grounding, nature, doing what you love, getting in the ocean, salt therapy, baths, self-care,
Dancing.
dancing, music, good
Yeah.
people are for me right now distractions, which means I need to sit in something, right? And I've never been in this situation before. And most of the time since finding this, I've just been lifting and lifting and lifting. And I feel that now I'm safe. My body
Oh,
wants me to, if I kept like going, and I think I do all of these things, but they're not moving my creative side forward. They're helping me process now. So I'm still doing all these things. So I'm getting out in nature, going for walks, doing my Pilates. And these are all really familiar things. This is really uncommon for me. So in my life, since I was 8, I would achieve things like I might start dancing as Stedfords or get into state water polo, and then I'd lose it because of pain and illness. And then I started to go to a private school, and I make all friends and I get a life, and I'm going through my teens, and then that's taken. And then I have a surgery in my 20s, and the pain goes. So I start working in fashion. I start going to the city every day. And then from then on, everything taken. From when I was about 20, my stomach was taken. From then on, I had to have more surgeries, walking stick, everything was gone. But then this pattern happened again. When I was in 2018, I did better, and then I got shingles through the eye and couldn't walk or talk up. And so I lost everything again. So the only pattern my body knows is to get something, work really hard at it and achieve it, and it be taken. And I've worked in the background with this coming up every time a new bundle comes up, when I had a shingles reoccurrence. But thank the Lord and thank the universe that having raw foods, the grounding, all the things we spoke about, getting outside, salt therapy, good people, living in your purpose, has always kept me moving forward. But I think also now that I've got so safe, my body needs to just slow down for a period. So I guess we can learn from blocks even. Like, it doesn't have to
yes.
be negative. And most people say, including myself, is the greatest losses can bring the greatest transformations. Like, people who have
Absolutely.
completely transformed their life, a lot of the time, if you hear, they'll be like, at one stage I was homeless alcoholic, and then I got past that and drove myself to this like empire I have today. Or people who sometimes unfortunately lose someone, a child or something, and you see them starting foundations and make changes in like people's lives all over the world. Not that that is a, you can say that's the greatest thing that happened to them, but the greatest shifts on this planet can come from the greatest loss. So it's something to think about when
Yes.
you're going through things, right? When you feel blocked up, you're not feeling your vibe, things aren't happening. But I mean, it's going to be normal for us, and especially we're coming off a big event here.
Yes.
So of course you can't just keep going. Like the whole point is this,
No.
like that up, and we just kept going and going, and now we're resetting.
Yes, that's normal. I think it's normal. And blocks are something that you definitely can learn from or shift or make them work for you. Blocks don't have to be the end, but what you want to do is really look at it. Like for us, like you said, we just came off of a big event. So our nervous systems need to rest. We need to rest and regroup. And so our stuckness, I think, is just maybe rejuvenation. Just like do all the things for a little while.
That. And positive talk is such positive talk, and this is what raw food gifts me, and this is why I feel like healed, is if the voice in my head is speaking at a high frequency, I keep moving forward and things keep lifting in my life, around me, in the view I have, in my creativity. And this is why raw foods is just so incredible for that. It gives you that baseline of like lift. And then you can lift that up more with, as we've said, is walks, oceans, going into hikes, being around great people, all these things that a lot of people skip and just don't think is important. And I get, because I was one of those when I was really sick, is the value in the foundation is so important. And I saw someone speak about depression and SSRI medication, because SSRIs at doctors are prescribed a lot. So antidepressants are prescribed a lot. And she said she went through depression and she was on a podcast talking about it. And she said the greatest thing is when I went to my doctor said, okay, I'm not saying no to medication, but let's just look at the fundamentals before we do that. So I'm going to put that on the shelf, and we need to look at, are you sleeping? Are you drinking? Are you stressed at work? Let's go through them all. She was doing negative things in every area of her life. Once she fixed it, her suicidal ideologies went. And it's just not done. And I don't think it's, even if it is done, I don't think it's done in a correct way by doctors, where they ask generally. They don't deep dive. So they say, are you sleeping? And they're probably like, yeah, sort of. But I think the anxiety, because this is the thing, right, is doctors then think everything going wrong in a person's life, the over drinking, the depression, the over drinking, the not sleeping, the fighting with family members, mood disorders, is the anxiety. It's not the actual problem. So then they prescribe it and they're like, oh yeah, all those areas got better. Well, you didn't actually fix the areas. You just gave a Band-Aid so that the areas feel numb. So
yeah,
I don't know
what a great doctor to ask those questions. What a great doctor. That's another thing too of getting unstuck. Sleep. We haven't mentioned sleep. Sleep is super important. I've been trying to sleep more since after the bundle, allowing myself to sleep. And when I'm working out or walking, exercising, all these things, I sleep so much better. So sleep is such a priority for me right now. Movement is priority. Just in order to rebalance from that all that busyness. Oh my gosh.
Look, I truly believe if you can prioritize these things, your life will come back into balance. It may not happen instantly, but maybe there's lessons to learn in that. Maybe you're not supposed to instantly snap back. I don't feel I want to after this. I feel like I need to decompress. I feel like I've just been going for so long that I'm proud of myself for getting through it and doing it, and the lessons I learned.
I'm proud of you too.
And everybody's doing it, because it's not just the bundle, right? Is we write books and then we have to create content, and then we just go, anyway.
And we interview each other, and we're constantly posting, and it's great. It's so much fun. It's so amazing. And then it's done, it ends, and then it's like, oh my gosh, whoa, now what?
Yes, that's right. But I feel like you got some good downloads from it, and then it doesn't even have to. I find what happens every year after the bundle is everyone has a million good ideas what they're going to do next year, but as if there's no year ahead, and then everything goes really quiet for like, and we live our lives, and then all of a sudden we all pop back up, and we're like, and people know, actually, in fact, nobody who told me the book that they're going to do during the bundle is what they do next year.
Really? Oh
No, that's what
no.
I'm saying. Everyone says I'm going to do this, and then I see something else, but maybe this is the year.
Maybe. Or maybe I'm gonna do 2. No, I can't do 2.
I've said I'm going to do too many times, and this year apparently was I'm going to do a trifecta. I'm going to do a retreat and then do 2 ebooks.
Wow. Oh, amazing. Incredible. Wow. Like, she's my mentor.
Oh. So I wonder what other types of because basically I feel like magic constipation is when we say we have struggles, and they can look different for every person and feel different at different times. But I think my greatest gift I have, and I think the raw food helps me with this, is being able to see it. Like you don't want to, and maybe other people have a really stressful job and they just keep going and going and going. And then when something stressful at work stops, they then pick up their stress and they move it to another part of their life.
Could
So
be,
maybe
yeah.
it's also about identifying that you keep picking stressful situations. Because I knew after I finished this, if I could have kept going. I would have been like, I'll just stay on doing lives. And I have a tendency to do that. It was a real conscious effort this time to just stop.
Yeah. I ended up taking most of Mother's Day off. I just posted, but I didn't do any lives. And I'm really glad I did that. I needed that by that point. I was almost hitting burnout. And then I was able to come back stronger on Monday. But I know what you mean about that energy, because or somebody, maybe they're stressed out at work and then that stress is gone, so they move the stress onto a relationship. That energy of that going, that's what that's what moved me into all the walks and the working out, because I had all this, it's going, and I'm like,
And you shifted it.
yeah, I shifted it. But today, God, the universe was like, you're gonna take it down some now. So all your things are gonna
Interesting.
cancel themselves, and you're just gonna do the mundane things like grocery shopping and making a meal, that kind of thing, taking a bath.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That kind of reminds me of when, I guess it's a good way to get out of magic constipation, right? Is shift the energy to good. Because when I healed myself, I was like, Sky, if you can go cause yourself that much pain and suffering in your life, as in like you keep showing up to the hospital, you keep having medications, you keep having surgeries, you keep smoking, you ended up drinking. What if you swapped in your wine glass like good stuff? Like all you had was juice or water or tea. And then what if, even though you will feel pain, you've already felt pain? It can't, like, there's got to be better on the other side of choosing good. And so
Hmm.
sometimes if we are stuck, we have to swap out bad habits for good, because the reason we don't like our bad habits is they cause us suffering in some way.
Hmm.
Okay, they cause suffering for either ourselves, our planet, loved ones. So what if you start having a green juice in the morning instead of coffee, if that was your first decision, right? And yes, you don't like it, but you also there's parts to it you don't like, but you also didn't like the jitters. You also didn't like the anxiety. You also didn't like the addictive tendencies that you keep going back to it. You also didn't like the lack of sleep. Isn't it better to feel the don't likes with the green juice and watch the green juice move you forward? Because that's
Yes.
what raw food does. And that's what I switched over is cigarettes were just taking me down.
Hmm.
Cooked food was taking me personally down. Everything taking me down had pleasure points, but
Hmm.
there was so much pain. But when you find pain when you first start a new healthy raw diet, is the pain eventually goes. That
Hmm.
doesn't happen with all other addictions. Like if we're shifting it over to choose it as your new addiction, as in the thing you focus on, you won't like parts of it, but you didn't like parts of the habit you're trying to break, right? But with fresh foods, it will
Hmm.
be. And this is not just foods. This is the same with walking. This is the
Hmm.
same. The reason you don't want to be lazy is you don't like to look in the mirror and see your belly, or your or you don't like the feeling from sitting in front of a television. So maybe you don't like the feeling of walking, but if you hold on to the pain in walking, it will eventually go and get you somewhere. Whereas if you hold on to the pain of constantly watching television, it ain't taking you anywhere. You will get fatter and you will feel worse.
Yes,
So put
yes.
that energy into my brain was like, I don't know, it's like everything aligned perfectly when I had to. And that's what an awakening, I assume, is like. Different for everybody. But every lesson I'd learned in life was about to show me the exact way that I had to go, and including not being able to watch television or connect with people. It just meant that all I had was like the truth of the matter. I wonder if that's how animals are, and that's why they just know what to do. If the little voice in animals' heads is just like, well, I'm not going to eat that, or I'm not going to do that because it'll lead me down the wrong path. I want to feel good.
Yes, we can learn so much from animals. They love
Definitely.
to eat really good food, and they love to be outside, and they love to go for walks, and they love to cuddle, and they love to take naps. We'd be so happy if we did all those
We do,
things.
and they love love. Like in
They
actual
love
fact,
it.
you see them bond and they're just happy and they stay in that like playful mode. When you see like dogs or even the elephants or even I saw a fish this morning that became friends with a Japanese diver. Every time he dove, this little fish was there and the man would kiss him and look after him. And then last night I was watching Intelligent Creature or something, a movie about an intelligent octopus that this cleaner became friends with. Oh my God, I feel like you just said that. Maybe that was a lesson for today I had to learn is that I have to look at animals more. They've been talking to me a lot lately.
Yes, yes. I've been seeing different types of animals. I saw a big black bunny. I saw a raccoon. I saw a snake. I've been seeing so many animals lately and so
Wow.
many birds because it's spring here.
Yes. I
So
was just thinking of birds as you said that because this
that's so
morning a big lorikeet flew past me. I was going to take a photo of it. I just sat there and I saw all the butterflies coming around me. I'm like, gee, there's a lot of animals with me at the moment. As I was thinking of birds, you're like, and all the birds.
Yes, that's so funny. Yeah.
It is. We can learn so much from the universe. It's like that reminder of that. I feel like we have everything we need. We lock ourselves in a box and think we have nothing when really even at rock bottom I still had stuff. Like
Oh,
you think you have nothing, but really you always have nature. There's
mhm.
Nature sends people. Every time I've been lost, nature will send people like past me that help me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I say nature, the universe, nature, um,
Uh-huh.
all those things. So what do you think for you is like the big one, like the biggest unblocker out of all the things you do, the one that you rely on the most?
I feel like, honestly, I feel like it's green juice. I really do. I feel like that
I'd agree.
settles me, sets me, calms my spirit. It's so incredible. Like making it, drinking it, I just love it. I think I would pour it in my bath water if I think I will, maybe. Honestly,
I
I love
love that.
it.
Uh, a huge osprey's wingtip went right past my face while I was looking at goldfish in a pond. Then the osprey went fishing in the river. It's been seen. What's an osprey?
I think it's a bird. Isn't it like
I
a
thought
blue
thinking if
heron?
there's a wing, and then I started thinking there's a flying fish. I don't know. I'm
Oh,
in imagination world here, guys.
I'll look it up and show you. I
I'm
think,
sure Koala Mama will tell us in a
yeah,
second.
osprey
I
is a
think
bird.
it's a raptor like hawk. Oh, it's a hawk. Wow. Wow. I have heard of that animal before.
Yeah.
I feel like when you eat raw food, does this happen to anybody else that animals talk to you? As in, like, when I eat raw food, now when I see like little animals moving around and you see their little facial expressions and stuff,
Yes.
I know what around about they're feeling or thinking or like communicating. And I was
I
never like that before.
Yes, yes. Today on
Wow.
my walk, a little squirrel followed us, like, right next to us, hopping around as we were walking, and so sweet, and it was like I felt like he was saying, "Hi, friends, I wanna walk with you," so he
Hi,
did a little
friends.
of the way.
I love that. And that's what life could be like. So I like that. Yeah, green juice is huge for me. In fact, I was already thinking when I got on here, I didn't have. Oh no, I got one when I was out walking yesterday, but I didn't make my big one that I usually sip on. And I feel
Yes.
like I was thinking this morning, oh, I might make one once I get off here.
I
So
need to make mine too. I didn't make mine either, but I need to. That's
it
that
is
helps
an
me.
instant frequency upper. Like juice
Yeah.
is, and I can't
Mhm.
tolerate sweet juice, but green juice is magic. In
It's
fact,
magic.
the
So
more
magic.
greens I have, the more magical I tend to
Yeah,
feel.
me
So,
too. Yes.
uh, even if I'm raw, the bunnies still run away from me all
Oh,
the time. I feel like they're inherently scared. So I saw a psychologist talking on how they put some toddlers in a glass pen, toddlers, babies, literally babies. I don't even think a 1-year-old with snakes, like a whole heap of
oh,
snakes, and the babies are just um, like touching them. There was no fear,
wow.
and fear of snakes starts very quickly in children. Like it doesn't take long. But what the psychologist was saying is a children's response or a baby's response is their parent's response. So children, when
Mm,
there's a bang or something happens or the parent goes, or oh my gosh, the child looks at the parent for the cue as to how to react. So if every time a snake is on television or a lizard or something similar to it or in a book, and the parents like and changes their tone of voice, is children become that. And what they're
uh-huh.
saying is inherently, it's just heights and loud noises that children are scared of. That's actually, see, not much is genetics. We think a lot is, but it's actually not,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to psychology. And that's the same with epigenetics, and I'm not going into all that now. But I think bunnies and animals are scared of us because they've learned over time to be scared of humans. The same sort of principle as the toddlers is if all bunnies, older bunnies, grown-up bunnies, run away from humans, the baby will do what the mother does. So I
Mhm.
believe we have to change, like, and they got run off vibes too. If you've got people walking through the forest whose bodies are full of meat, like I feel like animals
Mhm.
pick up on these vibes. They're not
Yeah.
the energy's got to go somewhere, right? I feel like if we all just ate more plants and moved towards
Mhm.
looking after this planet more, our interaction with animals would be like they would give us so much more because we'd be looking after them. You can't keep giving if we keep taking. Like it doesn't 1 + 1 always equals 2, and that doesn't equal 2. That
Yeah.
equals like
Right.
we're gone backwards.
And bunnies are so cute that we automatically want to go pick them up. And I think they're scared of that because we just, our energy, we're like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. And that whole thing
I
probably
know, you're
frightens
right.
them.
Like little chicks. And
Yeah.
also little babies usually just want to follow their mother. Like I remember when I was growing up, there were always like little ducks. That would be like especially at the start of spring, there'd be a mum with like little ducks, and we'd all run towards, like, of course, wanting to look at the ducks. And of course, the mum runs off and the babies just follow. So of course, from a young age, ducks learn to just move away, people. Like I'm
Yeah.
screaming at them. Um, I want to squeeze them. Yes, animals are
Yeah.
so cute. In fact, that movie, what is it called? It's off from The Wizard of Oz. They did the remake of it, and in it, all animals taught at the school. It's called like Glenda and what's her name? The green one, the green witch.
Oh, Alphaba.
Elphaba. So either way, they taught at schools and they spoke to people, and then us humans started using them in slavery, and they stopped talking and they
Oh,
weren't allowed to. Have you seen it? The
I
movie?
saw the first Wicked.
Yes, in that, and all the
Yes.
animals get shut down,
Yes.
and every time they speak, they just start making noises because they were never allowed to speak. And I was
Mhm.
like, that's kind of what we did to this planet. That's exactly what we did to this planet. Is I can only
Mhm.
imagine if we lived in nature and we just took our food, were really calm, gave any animals we saw hugs, that we would
Mm.
probably evolve next to them in a much more loving, magic type way.
Yes. So there's an author, her name is Diana Cooper, and she writes about unicorns and angels and the planet ascending. And she says that we're going to get to a point where we don't even need to eat. but we will choose to eat to have fellowship with one another. It'll be a way that we can have fellowship, but we're all supposed to get to a point where we can be breatharian and not have to eat. Our
That's so
vibrations will be so
wonderful.
high, but we'll choose to eat, and we'll eat vegan because it's the highest frequency. Raw. We'll eat raw probably. I don't know if she said raw, but
I've
I'm saying
seen,
raw.
maybe you've spoken about this before. I also feel like it is good that the planet has people who are vegan and vegetarian and moving away from.
Uh-oh, she disappeared. I think she's going to come back. I think what she was saying is it's good to have people that are vegan and vegetarian. Here she comes.
I'm back.
So you were saying, I was trying to fill in the blanks where you were saying that you think it's such a great idea that there are people that are vegan and
Well, it is.
vegetarian.
I think we are moving the planet up into a higher frequency by doing that. You
I
know,
think so
I
too.
think that's amazing that we
Because,
do
like you
that.
said, we're connecting with animals. We're able to connect in with our intuition. Sometimes when we feel like we can't connect with our intuition, it's not that it went away. It's just that we're in a different frequency. So after the
Wow.
bundle, we were like in a different frequency, even though we were talking about the raw vegan and we were sharing each other's stories. We were so high vibrational. Then I think we come back down to real life and we need to find our
100%.
frequency again.
100%. Okay, well, that was raw magic for this week. I liked this topic because I feel like a lot of us get stuck in it, and we gave you some tips on things to do. The other one I wanted to say was the journal. Some people journal. I don't like to journal because I don't like to solidify any negativity, but everyone processes things in a different way. So I tend to want to shift my energy before I sit in it. But some people shift by journaling. So I know some people also then burn what they've written down.
Yeah, you took that out of my mind. I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Well, there we go. All right, we'll be back next week, guys.
Yay.
All right, I'll be jumping on a live in about 15 minutes as well, doing my weekly talk and making a recipe.
Sounds good. Love you guys. Bye.